I'm glad I waited until you finished the horrendous accent before I brought the faders up there, Carlos.
You know what worries me? Who in the Bahamas
You worry me constantly.
is downloading the show?
Somebody.
Well, somebody.
Someone on holiday.
Yeah, but
Someone is.
can you imagine listening to us whilst on a beach? I mean, how lovely would that be?
I mean,
I've done that before.
Yeah,
when you look at the lists on here, there is some quite interesting countries that download the show. I mean, Kenya being one.
Just bearing in mind we're on air before you start offending people. All right.
We seem to have quite the following in Uzbekistan.
Do we? Oh, that's
kind of cool.
I mean, if they're listening to us for sort of country secrets, I think they're going to be bitterly disappointed.
our aviation expertise.
Yeah.
And I will just say that the Republic of Korea is.
Now, which one is that?
That's all it says is Korea Republic of. It says on here.
Right. Ooh.
Well, Nev might be overflying East Anglia.
Really?
Yeah. Mm. He's approaching the coast.
Oh, how exciting!
Where's Macau?
Near China.
Sort of opposite Hong Kong.
Oh, they're downloading the show as well, apparently.
Are they?
That's where all the Chinese go to gamble.
Is it?
It's like it's their version of Las Vegas, basically.
Oh, nice. Ooh,
so, yeah,
hello. Stick that one on the wish list.
They have some crazy big casinos there, but they have a big street race there, a Formula 3 race, but they also do motorbikes as well. And it's always the kind of, for people in motorsport, it's their end of year party where they go and do a big street race around there, and then basically go and have lots of parties for a week.
And in answer to Bill's question, around about 4,000.
Has anyone noticed I'm on brand this evening?
I know.
I did notice actually. Yeah.
Indeed.
I thought I'd give the old polo shirt a bit of a wear. I don't think I've even worn it.
Have you not? Oh.
No.
You must have worn it to a.
I think when I've been to an air show or something, I've worn my shirt.
Oh,
it's
very
a bit more.
good. Yes, a bit more appropriate.
Apple Podcasts is our biggest hit.
Go ahead.
And Overcast is second. I've never used Overcast.
Not familiar with that.
I mean, I've seen it when I look out the window here in the UK plenty enough.
Here we go.
Spotify's in the top 10 of...
Yeah.
And iHeartRadio, Matt.
Yeah, that was a bit of a battle to get on there, but that's where a lot of American listeners get stuff, basically.
I like Libsyn because you can zoom in and you can actually look by areas in the US. So you can go by...
Oh, I see. So you can see the territories.
So the territories, you can actually literally click on where Armando lives.
Oh.
Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. You can go by... Our heaviest downloader in the US, two of them show up dark grey, which are like the heavy downloaders. The one is California.
Oh, okay.
And the other one is Minnesota.
Okay.
Bit random.
Well, if you are any of those, then
thank you for downloading the show.
Yeah, do get in touch and let us know whereabouts and stuff.
Yes, I have put in a plea in the show notes for more listener feedback.
But the weird thing is, they don't do it for England. So I can't go by region
but you cannot compare. It's like England is like the fifth of a US state in terms of land mass. I mean, that's a bit much to ask them to split it down to Birmingham and like.
Oh, they do it by region, so I can go by east, south, southwest, Wales. So down your neck of the woods, Nick.
I reckon there's two of us.
No. This month, 304.
Ooh.
Up where Andy is, 616 this week.
Okay.
In the east of England, 250.
Oh.
This week. And Scotland, 288. I'll give you the login.
Despite your terrible impressions.
I'll give you the login details, Nick. You'll have to have a play with this and you can see what they're...
See what it is.
It is quite interesting when you look down at the depths of Libsyn.
I always quite enjoy looking at the analytics for YouTube channels and seeing how much all these different YouTubers are earning. Then it just gets a bit depressing. And I start to question life choices.
I wouldn't. Right, okay, just bear in mind we are 40 seconds from clock. Oh, hello, Masha. Hello.
Hello, Masha.
And 20 seconds from clock, Carlos, just for your information.
Thank you.
Very calm and organised this evening.
It is, isn't it?
Possibly go wrong.
10, 9.
Oh,
8,
everything.
Matt's counting us down.
6, 5.
Here we go.
4, 3, 2, 1. Clock is live. 30 seconds.
Being terribly professional.
Professional.
Well, they don't normally hear this bit because I am normally doing this behind the scenes. When
I'm going to shut the window because it's
15
minus 20
seconds.
outside.
It's not minus 20.
Nev's opposite Great Yarmouth at the
And
moment.
10 to start.
Oh, is he?
Here we go. Silence in studio.
Thank you. Well, hello and welcome to episode 509 of the Plain Talking UK podcast. I'm Carlos, and in this week's show, we've got a couple of 757 stories, especially for Matt, a Wayward Ryanair, some not too tasty mints, and Eurowings are making hot air. In the military news this week, we have Australian BBJs and a special Antarctic rescue mission. And joining me this week on the show in the PTK Master Suite studio, he's pressing all the buttons, but not necessarily in the right order. It's Matt Smith.
How very rude.
I just read what's said on here.
Does it? Right, okay. Anyway, it's just like I'm pressing all the right notes, not necessarily in the right order. Dear old, well, that's Morecambe and Wise, isn't it? Love
Morecambe
that.
and Wise, yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Love it. Anyway, hello.
Oh, good evening. What do you know? Anything good?
No. I mean, I've had an excellent show. In fact, I've had two chauffeurs this week. Both on the same day. You're right there. Are you still there, Carlos? Oh no, sorry.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh,
yeah.
right, sorry, you froze there.
No.
It's going well, yes. Well, I had you, didn't I? And then we had to change vehicles, and so then there was Paul. So
I know you're very lucky. You're a very lucky boy. You are.
I know, absolutely. Yes.
Have all these chauffeurs.
The driving is adequate. Good news. What's this? What am I turning down? Oh, I'm being whinged at because he can still hear the music.
Oh yes.
Oh, it's all about you, Andy.
It's all about him. I know.
I can't hear what you're saying.
That's all right. That's a good thing. That's a good thing, Andy. I'm not going to lie.
The good thing is it sounds okay on YouTube. That's the main thing. But no, thank you, Mr. Smith, for joining us this evening. I'm guessing you're looking forward to a quiet weekend this weekend, aren't you?
I don't really know what's happening this weekend. I can't remember. Have I missed something?
No, I just thought you tend to have very busy weekends when it comes to the radio station.
Yes.
But I think you're on the radio on Saturday morning.
Yes.
And
I got a fun thing to do on Sunday actually because it's the Pink Ladies Tractor Run.
It is, yeah.
And so I'm going to Gawdy Hall, which is where they park up at lunchtime to go and do some interviewing and all that kind of thing. And myself and Mr. Abel and Mum, we're all going to go and have a nice picnic, weather permitting, of course.
Weather permitting, yes.
Yeah, that's the only slight worry. Yeah, absolutely.
So joining us as well tonight over in his mobile studio somewhere in the depths of the UK. It is, of course, our resident Airbus pilot and captain. It's Andy.
I like how you didn't read it as it was written that time.
Yes, a bit of a relief. Yeah.
Good evening.
Yes.
How are you all?
Yes.
So whereabouts are you this evening, Andy? You're guessing you're not at home in the usual pub studio.
No, I'm holed up in a hotel down in Gatwick.
Oh.
Once I'm finished here, I'm going to go and do some work in the simulator all night.
Ooh.
Just fun.
So this is again, forgive the naivety. Is there a particular reason why this particular time slot, or is it just purely down to availability?
That's a good question, actually, Matt.
Yeah, it was what was available. So I just decided. I quite like working at night as well. Weirdly, I'm a bit of a night owl, so I thought, I'll go for one of the later slots because the world's nice and quiet then. Everybody leaves you alone, so you can just get on and do stuff.
So you're literally going through, as in through the night, so you don't finish until the early hours of the morning?
Yeah.
Wow.
10:30 till 2:30. It's a pretty normal slot for pilots to use, really.
Yeah. Nice. Well, back to the hotel, I'm guessing, after that.
Yes, and then sleep until around lunchtime tomorrow.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
Now, our resident BA specialist is not with us this evening, but we have got Nick with us as always. And Nick, you've got an update as to where our very own Mr. Neville Bounds is currently in the world.
Yes, evening, Carlos. Just looking at Nev's flight on Flight Radar, he's just opposite Southwold, just off the East Anglia coast there. So I don't know if he's going to pop in for a nice pint of something tasty, I suspect he'll probably just wind his way back to Heathrow.
I could say he'll probably soldier on to London, I suspect. Yeah.
Yeah. So
how are things, Nick?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. It's good to be Wednesday again, and here we are all again, and another packed show, I think, this evening.
We have indeed, very much so. And as Nick said, Nev is currently in the air. He's flight level 30. Yeah,
probably a bit lower now.
Yeah, 30,000 at the moment.
30,000 feet.
Yeah, a bit low.
He is in the chat as well.
Oh, is he?
Nev. Yes, Neville Bounds is in the chat.
Yeah, I think is Nev. Is he on one of the Neos? I haven't logged into Flight Radar 24 to give me access to that info,
what's
but
it got? It's a 320-200. 10 years old.
Oh, it's but he's got Wi-Fi though.
Yeah.
Yeah. 10
so
years
he is
old.
listening. We best
There we go.
behave.
Yes, he's heading down. He's got a funny way to Heathrow, Andy. He's going down towards sort of Sittingbourne, South End at the moment. I'm guessing that's the usual route into Heathrow from Stockholm.
Yeah. It's all very congested airspace around there, isn't it? So there's set routes in and out of all of the London airports.
Just looking actually on Flight Radar 24, there is quite the queue, isn't there, Nick, of aircraft that are heading into Heathrow in front of Nev.
Yeah, it's obviously peak time at the moment, but yes, more on that later. But yeah, we've got a nice little queue coming in. Actually, it looks like currently, I would say there's probably at least 20 aircraft ahead of him at the moment. Yeah, it's quite extraordinary.
Well, hopefully he'll be on time.
Those controllers have got their hands busy, hands full.
So we're going to say hello to everyone in the chat room as we always do each week. Starting off at the top of the list with Mazoos, our local listener. Mazoos, good to see you in there. We've got Hobby Time. Hello. Nev's obviously in the chat room at 30,000 feet. We've got Richard Adams. Hello to you. Apparently, apologies from him this week. The mighty AC/DC are due on stage at Wembley shortly, apparently. But thanks for joining us anyway, Richard. Good to see you on. Bill's in there. Hello, Bill. Good to see you as well. Richard E. Flagg. Hello to you, Richard. Great pictures again this week, Richard. I was checking those out last night that you put on the web of the social media pages there, Richard. Very good indeed. Masha, hello to you. And Tanya, hello, Tanya. Good to see you in the chat room. Captain Cruz is with us as well. Good to see you. Neil Lamworn has got some very distressing news indeed. Apparently he's off to the gym soon.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
And Prop Sky He's made it just in time as well. Good to see you in there, Props Guy as well. And thanks to everyone for joining us this evening. Don't forget, if you're listening to us through an audio podcast, we do this live show on YouTube on a Wednesday. So if you want to join in the chat room and see what beards are on show during the show, you can join us on
Some are better
YouTube.
than others.
For those of you watching in the world of YouTube, you'll be able to see on the screen now, if you look, we are providing you with a live screen of Nev, who is literally just coming down he's coming down towards Southend, isn't he? Yeah, actually down. He's still over the sea. He's still over the sea at the moment, but he is coming down towards Southend. But I wonder whether he's able to watch the live stream on YouTube using the Wi-Fi.
I mean, he's in the chat. True.
Perhaps he'll let us know. Anyway, loads to get through on the show this week. We've also got our retro ad of the week this week, which is an airline that I think is no longer. I think it's been gone a lot of years now, actually. But loads of news to get through. So if all the team's ready,
we are indeed.
Let's go.
The captain has turned on the seatbelt light. Please take your seats and fasten your seatbelts.
Now, before we start the news this week, I'm going to say a very special congratulations to one of our guests who we have on the show every now and again when we can grab him, and that's Stuart O'Neill. Those of you who know Stuart, he flies the parachute plane, the Cessna Caravan here at Beccles sometimes. He's also light GA pilot, and he's finally got his dream job with a airline based here in the UK, and he passed his check ride last week. So he is good to go.
Well done.
Yeah, he is fully fledged in the right seat of a 737-800, so he's enjoying that very much. Going to try and get him on the show soon, but congratulations to Stuart on reaching that milestone. It's been a long, long journey for him, I know, with lots of letdowns, but he's finally there. So well done, Stuart. All the best for your future job. So the first news story comes to us from inews.co.uk, and it's Ryanair Boeing 737 MAX dive. Didn't we cover one of these last week, Nick? My word, it's happening a lot. 2,000 feet in 45 seconds, sparking investigations. Now, investigations launched this week into a Ryanair flight that descended 2,000 feet in just 45 seconds on December the 4th last year. The 737-8 was operating flight FR 1269 from Klagenfurt Airport in Austria to London Stansted. During its initial approach to Stansted, the flight crew initiated a missed approach at 2,350 feet, started to climb, and Flight Radar 24 records show the aircraft ascended during its missed approach from 4,425 feet to 2,450 feet in 45 seconds, with the aircraft's ground speed increasing from 197 knots to a peak of 277 knots in 26 seconds. FR24's playback of the flight shows a peak vertical speed of minus 8,832 feet per minute. The aircraft subsequently landed safely at Stansted 10 minutes later and was not operated for 2 days following this incident. Ryanair said they reported the matter to the AAIB in compliance with their operating procedures and are fully cooperating with the routine AAIB investigation. Andy, what do those figures tell you?
Well, the 2,000 feet in 45 seconds is nothing, really. That's pretty slow. The important bit here is a peak vertical speed of minus 8,800 feet, that close to the ground, and the speed increase of 80 knots in 26 seconds as well, which you'd expect in a sort of a dive like that. Really, you would call it a dive. There's a lot to speculate on here about why. We don't know what happened on the flight deck or what went wrong. I don't think it'd be turbulence to cause this. Maybe some incorrect handling of the aircraft, some mishandling, but there could be another anomaly as well. The MAX has had a lot of issues, as we know, with MCAS and everything else. It's interesting that Ryanair said that this was an unstable approach and they went around, and the second approach was uneventful, which could mean there was mishandling here or it was sort of a rushed approach or something like that. But I guess we'll just have to wait until the final investigation comes out. But it's very interesting. That was a really high rate of descent close to the ground.
Yeah, I thought it'd be interesting to get your input on that because obviously this is the 737, the Boeing, and I'm guessing a lot differs between this and the Airbus that you fly, Andy.
Well, not really. They're both aeroplanes, aren't they? They both do the same sort of thing. They've got similar autopilot functions. All right, the Airbus has a lot of flight envelope protections to stop you getting into certain situations, but it doesn't stop you getting into a situation like this. That you can easily do this in Airbus as well.
But this was a MAX. I think this is why everyone jumped on this story when it broke on social media this week.
Yeah.
It's
already got a tarnished history, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But hopefully it's nothing to do with the actual airframe and it was mishandling because Boeing can really do without another issue to deal with.
Ain't that the truth?
Am I right in thinking, Andy, that Airbus never had any kind of big issues with the Neo when they introduced that into service?
No. I mean, the only issue the Neo has is the Pratt & Whitney engine version because there's a lot of issues with the Pratt & Whitney engine. And there's a few small teething problems, but in the architecture of the flight control system, no, there was no issues whatsoever. It was just carry on with a few modifications from the original version.
Now, Andy, you've got the next story, and moving on to one of the best aircraft ever produced.
I agree, and I've always wanted to fly this, and they're disappearing very quickly. This is from aerotime.aero, and Federal Express is to retire 22 Boeing 757 freighters as its downturn continues to bite. FedEx has announced that it has permanently retired another 22 of its Boeing 757-200 freighters as the carrier continues to manage its fleet resources. The announcement came on June the 25th, my birthday, as the Memphis-based shipping and logistics company revealed its financial results for the quarter ending May the 31st, 2024. The company reported fiscal fourth quarter revenues of $201 million compared with $430 million during the same period in 2023, so a year-on-year decrease of 53%. According to CH Aviation, FedEx now has a fleet of 109 757-200s, with 57 shown as active, while 52 are described as inactive. Many of the airframes still flying are well over 30 years of age. Rival company United Parcel Service, UPS, secured the lucrative contract to become the primary air cargo carrier for the US Postal Service at the start of 2024, a contract that FedEx has held for the past 2 decades. So that might explain a lot.
A popular aircraft is, and as we know that a lot of passenger 757 variants end up becoming freighters through the conversion process. But obviously these are freighters, and so that does beg the question that when they retire these, when FedEx retires these, whether they are going to be actually retired permanently rather than being brought back into use for another service.
Well, you can't convert a freighter back to passenger.
Nope.
And these things are getting old and long in the tooth and are fuel guzzlers by comparison to, say, a 777 freighter. Or now they are converting A320s and 21s to freighters. And there's a few flying around already. I know Titan has at least one, and those are far more fuel efficient than the RB211s. So I think the days of... I mean, it's a very, very old design as well. It's older than me, the 757. Its time has come. It was a brilliant aircraft. But
can you imagine if they re-engined this, Andy, with like a new, like the new Trent or something like that?
Yeah, but there's more efficient wing designs now as well. Everything's better on newer designs. But it was a good aircraft. I'd love to have flown one.
Yes. And I'm lucky to have flown on one a few times with Air 2000 back in the day. And I still have a cockpit video which I need to convert from VHS to digital.
Convert from VHS?
Play that on the show, if I can find it. If it's still in good order, I should say. It's in a sealed container in the loft, so hopefully I can dig that out at some point and find a way of converting it.
That'll be ruined. Is it on VHS or VHS-C?
Oh, it's on VHS.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, we can always try.
We can always try.
Yeah.
We've got the next story coming to us from the express.co.uk. Now, Matt, this is a two-part story.
Okay.
I think Nick found this story, and then I found the other part of this story during the week, and we've kind of combined the two.
Okay.
So, Matt, if you want to take the first one.
Yeah, okie dokie. So we'll start with the express.co.uk. That is the source for this one. And it says, the headline says that the airline with the best onboard food in the world has been crowned, and it's free. When it comes to dining on flights, the offering can be a little bit hit or miss depending on which carrier you are flying with. Increasingly, airlines are charging customers to dine on board in economy or with budget providers. And even if you are paying, the offering can often be limited. However, one airline continues to set the standard for its dining options on board. Turkish Airlines was named the best in the world for both its business class and its economy catering at the Skytrax World Airline Award in 2024. The airline serves a selection of meals which are made daily by their flying chefs. Turkish Airlines website explains our in-flight meals use only the best ingredients, so you can rest assured you'll be getting a good meal. Our food and drink menu is prepared daily. We make sure everything is prepared safely and hygienically. We take inspiration from Turkish culinary tradition for many of our in-flight meals, but we also offer snacks such as cakes and sandwiches too. The offering typically covers long-haul routes. On domestic flights, economy class passengers are served hot gourmet sandwiches with fillings such as pesto, grit ezme. Ooh, what's that? It's a Cretan-style dip. Ooh, nice, yummy. Chicken cutlets, feta cheese, and other ingredients. The sandwiches are. What's good? Something went wrong there. Sorry. Got a problem in the studio. Just bear with me.
It's the food. He's dropped some food.
I did. That's the excitement. Its sandwiches are made with a variety of breads, ranging from potato sourdough rolls to sesame pita and sourdough Trabzon bread. Don't know what that is. What is Trabzon bread? Anybody know what that is?
Don't know, probably tastes nice though.
No, okay, I'm sure. It's in business class. The offering is elevated further with dishes inspired by both Turkish cuisine and global dishes. You'll have options of traditional Turkish meals, or perhaps something from the kitchen of China, France, Italy, or India, explains Turkish Airlines. Depending on the length of your flight, you'll be served with a hot or cold breakfast. In business class, you'll have as much freshly squeezed orange juice or other fruit juices as you want. After evening meals, we offer tea freshly brewed in our on-board samovar. Don't know that term. Anyway, along with the accolades for its options, Turkish Airline also won its award for Best Airline in Europe. Badal Elski, who is the CEO of Turkish Airlines, said, "We are delighted to receive these prestigious awards from Skytrax. Being named the best airline in Europe and Southern Europe and receiving recognition for our business class catering excellence is a testament to the hard work and dedication of our team. As the Turkish Airlines family, we would like to thank our valued passengers who deemed us worthy of these wonderful awards, and the Skytrax team who put this evaluation into practice. With Turkish hospitality in our DNA, we remain committed to delivering an unmatched travel experience to our passengers and will continue to innovate and enhance our services." Edward Pleisted, CEO of Skytrax, said, "We congratulate Turkish Airlines on being named the best airline in Europe, which for the 9th time is a remarkable achievement in such a competitive region and demonstrates that they are a customer favourite." Turkish Airlines repeated earlier year successes by winning the award for the world's best business class catering, and the airline and its catering partner Turkish Dough & Co. Should be very proud of their success.
Now, I've got a couple of people who I work with at the company I work with now who've just come back from a trip, and they flew with Turkish Air, and they could not say good enough, good enough things. I thought the airline was fantastic, the food was great, as Matt has just said, but also the crew and the quality of the service they had on board was really, really good. I don't know if you've heard similar things, Andy, with about Turkish Air.
Yeah, I mean, Turkish are trying to be the sort of Emirates of Europe with their huge Istanbul base as the main hub, and the new airport there is massive. It's a bigger airline than BA. It's much bigger than BA, and I think they're doing a really good job. To be honest, they've got really good service on board. I've never flown with them, but a few of my friends have as well, and their lounges and stuff like that, especially in Istanbul, is out of this world.
Yeah, I need a sort of bucket list thing. I need to go to Turkey. I've always wanted to go to Turkey, never been yet, so perhaps I need to put that on the list, the to-do list for next year, and fly Turkish Airlines. I knew they do, I think they do a service, a hop from here to Turkey, then straight to Dubai, I think, don't they, Andy?
Yeah,
Do a
you can get
service? Yeah.
you can get to anywhere in the world just about from Istanbul.
Yeah. So the second part of the story is from Euronews.com, and we're going from best airline food, to what is the world's best airline for this year. 3 European carriers made it into the top 10. The world's best airlines have been revealed in a survey of 21 million passengers. 3 European carriers made the top 10. Smiling service, snacks, a great movie selection. These things make hours spent on a plane just a little bit more bearable. But the experience can vary wildly depending on which carrier you pick. So which airline should you choose for the best in-flight experience? This week, the Oscars of the aviation industry revealed the best airlines of 2024. Created by UK-based airline rating organisation Skytrax, the World Airline Awards drew on surveys from more than 21 million passengers in over 100 countries, flying with more than 350 different airlines. So the winning spots were nominated by Middle Eastern and Asian, or dominated by Middle Eastern and Asian carriers. So the best airline to fly with in 2024, according to the survey, narrowly knocking Singapore Airlines off the top spot. Surprise, surprise. They've been number one for donkey's years. Qatar Airways, or Qatar Airways, is the airline of the year of 2024. It's the 8th time Qatar's flag carrier has been granted first place in the 25-year history of the awards. Passengers love the Middle Eastern airline for its comfort, tasty food, up-to-date entertainment, warm service, and modern fleet of aircraft. The airline's wide reach, covering 341 airports across Australia, Asia, Europe, the Middle East, Africa, North America, and South America, means flights are readily available to many global destinations. As well as receiving the overall crown, Qatar Airways won accolades for the world's best business class, the world's best business class lounge, and the best airline in the Middle East. So, what are the best European airlines to fly with? No European airlines made it to the top 5, which consisted of Singapore Airlines in close second place, followed by the UAE's Emirates, Japan's ANA, All Nippon Airways, and Hong Kong-based Cathay Pacific, which also won World's Cleanest Airline. East Asian and Middle Eastern Airlines also made an appearance in the top 10, with Japan Airlines in 6th place and Taiwan's Eva Air in 8th place. Turkish Airlines ranked in 7th place, making it the best airline in Europe, flying to over 300 destinations, among the most of any airline in the world. It was also recognised for its food, as Matt has just said, with the Best Business Class Catering Award. Air France, KLM, took 9th place, making it one of the leading European airport groups. Air France also won awards for the world's best first-class catering and the best first-class lounge dining at Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport, and the best airline in Western Europe. Swiss International Airlines rounded up the top 10, also earning a 2nd place for the world's best first-class lounge at the busy Zurich Airport. And although no North American airlines made it into the top 10, Delta Airlines was declared the best airline in the region thanks to its attentive staff. So, here's the clincher. What are the best budget airlines of 2024? So, according to Skytrax, we're all looking for low prices and great service. And they also ranked the best budget airlines for this year, with European carriers making up an impressive 6 of the top 10. Malaysian low-cost carrier AirAsia came out on top for the 14th year in a row, followed by Singapore's Scoot, Spain's Voleta, and Saudi's Flynas and France's Transavia. Also in the top 10 were India's Indigo, Spain's Vueling, Latvia's Air Baltic, Spain's Iberia Express, and Ireland's Ryanair, with EasyJet narrowly missing out in 11th place. So there we go. If you want to fly anyone, well, fly with Qatar. So they've finally lost their top spot, Singapore, after all this time. Nick, any airlines there that you've fancied?
Yeah, I've flown on Singapore a few times, and I have to say they were excellent. So, yeah, I would certainly have no hesitation in traveling with them. Yeah, I've not actually tried Qatar, but yeah, I think my son's flown on them a few times actually. But yeah, I always heard pretty good things about them. Yeah, I've got a friend who travels quite a bit with them as well. So yeah, I think their some of their business class stuff is pretty good by all accounts.
Andy?
I really want to try Singapore's longest flight in the world.
Yeah,
really?
me too.
Yeah, Singapore to
that's-
New York.
Yeah, is that on a A350?
Yeah,
No, it is A350.
Yeah,
it's the
Yeah,
long range 350 as well.
yeah, I'd be up for doing that. That sounds good.
Yeah, because I think it's all business and premium economy on that aircraft as well. It's a lot. It's like 15 hours or something like that. So you'd have to go business. It'd be great.
I'll tell you what, the premium economy becoming quite a popular thing now. I think they should do a survey on who has the best premium economy.
I'm
'Cause
sure
I-
that'll come along.
I can tell you who will probably win, and it's going to be Emirates.
It looks good, doesn't it?
Oh,
But I
yeah.
haven't tried it. And I am flying with Emirates at the end of the year, and I'm undecided whether to go business or premium.
I watched the release video when they promoed that, and they had like the guys going around with the cameras looking at all the nooks and crannies of the premium economy seating, and they look really, really nice. I
Aren't
mean,
they like-
they're not fully lie flat, but they are.
And
Very
aren't the seats
comfortable.
but like a creamy white colour as
Yeah.
well? I'm just worried about how is that going to look after 6 months of constant use.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to be flying on Emirates, all being well, probably sort of end of November time. So,
really?
I will be in cattle class though. That is a guarantee, sadly. But
I'm flying them early December
nice, okay, nice.
to go to Abu Dhabi to the Grand Prix.
Ooh,
Oh
Ooh.
no!
That'll be
blimey.
fun.
Yes.
Oh
Come on,
Tickets
Blag.
are still available, Matt.
yeah, right, okay, yeah.
Blag yourself an
Yeah.
upgrade,
There's
Andy.
there's just the small matter of A, the cost to actually go to the Grand Prix, and B, the cost of the actual flight to Abu Dhabi. Just a couple of potential, sort of like stumbling blocks, shall we say?
How long have I got to win the lottery?
Yeah,
Till December.
While. Yeah.
Okay. I'll try and get you there, Matt. I'll give it my best shot. I will.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
Now, going from posh cabins or business class and premium to another airline that's got a rather nice product, Andy.
Yes, this is JetBlue having to drop suite doors on some Mint flights. JetBlue is set to disable the privacy doors to its Mint business class seats on the airline's A321neos. This is because the FAA requires an extra flight attendant above minimum amount to ensure these doors are properly locked open for critical phases of flight, given the increased workload. Now, I think that's crazy. Why do you need an extra member of crew to do this? I don't think that will be required in Europe, but anyway, I'll carry on. JetBlue has temporarily increased staffing on the A321s to accommodate this, but it's no longer wanting to do that for financial reasons. As a result, the airline has taken the decision to deactivate these doors to cut one flight attendant from these aircraft. When Mint was first introduced on JetBlue, they only had 4 seats per aircraft, and the FAA said that was fine because that was enough seats that the workload to ensure these doors was secured for taxi takeoff and landing. But the FAA also said to Airbus that it reserved the right to reevaluate should the interior arrangement change. Also, just as an FYI, these exemptions that were applied for were granted to Airbus, not JetBlue. That's weird. But then, Mint was successful and JetBlue wanted to operate with more of these suites per aircraft. In December 2020, the exemption was approved by the FAA but required an extra crew member to verify the proper configuration of the doors in the open position during taxi takeoff and landing. The exemption also provides relief from having doors between passenger seats and an emergency exit and removes the second emergency doors forward of the wings, creating more space for the premium cabin on board. This only affects the 8 A321neos that are configured in this way. These have 16 to 24 mint seats and a total passenger capacity of 160. There are a separate 11 A321LRs which are intended for transatlantic flights that are not affected because those aircraft have less than 150 seats. From JetBlue's perspective, it's a small number of passengers affected for the price of an extra crew member and their associated costs, training, hotels, per diem, etc., etc. The FAA requirement, also the same as the CAA and EASA, is one cabin crew member for every 50 passengers or segment of 50 passengers carried. So surely, if these seats are 160 anyway, they're going to have the extra crew member anyway.
I thought they had like the function with these as crew to press a button and open all the suite doors in one hit.
I don't think these suites are as fancy as that. I think this is manual operation.
Oh, okay.
But because you need one cabin crew per 50 passengers or part thereof. With 150 passengers, you only need 3, but with 160, then you do require
4.
But also, it's what the aircraft's certified to carry anyway, not what you actually fit on board. So this requires a minimum of 5 crew anyway, the A321.
Oh, right, yeah.
It all seems a bit strange to me, this. And also weird that the exemption was given to Airbus, not the airline, when it's their fit of their aircraft. I don't really know.
See. Right, yeah.
So you fly the 321, Andy. What's the cabin crew for the?
Oh, the 321. We have 5.
Yeah, 5. Okay.
Yeah. Because we carry over 200 passengers on those.
Right, but if, for example, if for some reason the passenger layout, if you like, was changed and the amount of passengers dropped below the threshold to have 5, could you then have 4, or is it that aircraft must have 5?
That's a good question. Leave that one with me for a few minutes.
Okay, all right. Yeah, well, no, because you say it's like, so. I mean, if they go to like business class and say they went to a bit like this, where a huge part of the aircraft has been
is posh
seating. Does that mean, although you've lost an awful lot of sort of like bums on seats, if you like, you could argue that. But then, it's irrelevant in terms of this story, I know, but I was just curious, really. So if the configuration was you're saying, was it one crew for every 50 passengers, you were saying?
Yeah. I do like these mint suites are really nice. And I think, is it these they operate from here to the US, isn't it? I think the 321s, pretty sure it's the 321s that they operate from here in the UK. Across the
I think they fly out of Gatwick, don't they?
Gatwick, yeah.
They do, yes. I see them quite often in Gatwick.
I think you travelling. I know, Matt, you're not the big fan of the sort of narrow body, as in going long haul on these. But I think, Matt, even if you were sitting in one of these mint suites, you'd be quite.
I do think
happy.
If it was, how old is this particular the 7.5s that they're using?
Well, the 321.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, the 321. Yeah.
These are fairly new, aren't they, Andy? I think these are only sort of 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah, in 2020 they started flying these routes.
Because I do think that one of the problems that I had with the infamous flight, as we'll now call it, was the fact that it was a very tired aircraft, and I do wonder if perhaps wasn't as beautifully pressurised and all that kind of thing to somebody who wasn't very well and all that kind of thing, whether that was a factor, if you see what I mean, as where if I don't think it's the narrow body which is what I have the objection with, if that makes sense. Captain Cruz is saying that EasyJet was the first airline to get the A319s with 2 overwing exits, making it harder to distinguish the A320s from the A319s.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, and the reason for that was because EasyJet The original design limit was 150 seats on the A319, which only required 6 exits. But because EasyJet wanted to carry 156 passengers with an extra row, they needed more emergency exits, so they had to put the 2 in at the overwings.
Oh.
And was that something that Airbus had to do extra, or was the 319 designed to have those extra?
Well, it was originally designed with 1 overwing, but because the 320 has 2 overwing sections, they just can use the same jigs to make
Oh,
it.
yeah. Interesting.
And I just looked it up. It all depends. Great, good old legislation and implementing rules and stuff like that. It's not very clear. An aircraft can be certified to have X amount of seats, but then the operator can ask for changes to those seats, which will then change the amount of cabin crew on board. So there's no clear-cut answer as to how many cabin crew you have to have.
Right, okay. Fair enough. Makes sense.
Now, Matt, moving on to the next story, and it's from a manufacturer that you're very well aware of.
I wouldn't go that far. See if I can do it sensibly, shall we? BBC.co.uk is the source on this one. And the headline, Airbus to take over some Spirit operations in Belfast. Airbus is to take over part of the Spirit Aero Systems operation in Belfast. Spirit is Northern Ireland's most significant manufacturing employer with around 3,500 staff. Airbus is taking control of the part of the business which makes wings and fuselages for its A220 jet. There is uncertainty for the non-Airbus parts of the Belfast business, with Spirit saying it will sell them separately. That part of the business includes a range of work from Bombardier's business jets. Spirit was founded in 2005 when part of Boeing's business was spun off as a separate company. The current deal it was initiated by Boeing, which wants to bring Spirit back in-house as part of its efforts to tackle manufacturing problems. Boeing is paying £4.3 billion, that's 4.3 billion dollars, that's 3.3 billion pounds for its part of the deal, whereas Spirit will pay Airbus $559 million, that's 440.6 million pounds, reflecting the fact that the parts of the business Airbus is taking over are currently loss-making. Aside from the Belfast operations, Airbus will take control of 2 Spirit factories in the US, one in France and one in Morocco. Spirit has been in Northern Ireland since 2019 when it bought Bombardier's operations. Earlier this year, Spirit said it would invest in the Belfast factory and hire more staff as it ramps up production for the A220. Airbus wants to step up the production rate of the A220 by 50% in 2024, with another increase in 2025. And I'm not reading what's in the green, I'm being a grown-up.
I think we forget sometimes that we do have a lot of manufacturing companies within the UK and Ireland that produce some quite sizable pieces of aircraft, especially Airbus aircraft. Obviously Broughton here in the UK and Bombardier and Spirit
Now,
over there in Belfast.
Forgive my naivety on this one here. The question I'm asking here, according to what's in the notes as well now, are they essentially, am I overthinking this? Are they essentially blaming Spirit for the issue that they had with the plug door? Is this their reading through the lines kind of like,
Not just that. Spirit, not in Belfast, but as a company as a whole, they produce the 737 fuselage. They produce many other items as well that have had recently on inspections a lot of issues. So Boeing have basically been told by the FAA, you need to bring this back in-house and sort this out.
Right.
Which is why the Spirit are having to sell this bit to Airbus.
Yeah.
Because obviously Airbus still need these parts making for the A220. But Spirit is going to be taken back in-house, and they're going, look, we don't want to do that bit anymore. We'll just best concentrate on the Boeing bits to make sure we're doing them right.
Right. Okay, and then I guess although there's not been any known issues, should we say, with the Airbus side of things that Spirit have been making, I guess, if there are concerns, that have been raised as this, I guess are Airbus potentially nervous about this as well?
I don't think so, because this factory hasn't been called out as an issue.
Right. Yeah.
It's meant some of their other manufacturing sites, but of course, because it's part of the umbrella company, they want it all back together.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, makes sense.
So on to the next story with a headline that I didn't think I'd ever see. Well, not involving this particular aircraft anyway. This comes to us from simpleflying.com. FAA flags over 120 Boeing 757-200s for fuselage cracking concerns. Oh dear. The FAA has issued a new airworthiness directive for some Boeing 757-200 examples last week. The directive, prompted by structural integrity concerns, is targeted at aircraft that have been modified by particular supplemental type certificates. It'll go into effect later this month and will give the operators of the aircraft until mid-August to comment and address concerns. The ruling is directed at only 13 planes in the US, but 120 aircraft worldwide, requiring repetitive inspections. The FAA and the US Department of Transport jointly issued the AD on June the 26th in a statement to Simple Flying on Monday. The agency said the structural concerns are around the affected aircraft's lavatory service panels. Oh dear. The Federal Aviation Administration is issuing airworthiness directives requiring immediate inspections, repairs, replacements where necessary to the lavatory service panel on Boeing 757-200 aircraft. The AD is a final rule and becomes effective on July the 11th this year. It was approved by a director of the Federal Register and requires operators of the affected aircraft to submit comments regarding the safety concerns by August the 12th this year. Very important date, that one. Just saying. This AD requires repetitively inspecting the lavatory service panels, access pan, and attaching structure for cracks, reinforcing the attaching structure, and if necessary, replacing the access pan or repairing cracked parts. The agency explained in the Federal Register. The FAA is issuing the AD to address the unsafe condition on these products. Although the directive's order for immediate inspections, there have not been any known prolonged groundings of 757-200s, and the believed cracking currently does not seem to pose a significant threat to safety. Delta Airlines, United Airlines are the main US operators of the 757-200. Atlanta-based Delta has the largest fleet with 109 examples, according to CH Aviation. The aircraft collectively have an average age of 27.6 years, and United has 40 aircraft with an average age of 27.5 years. Both airlines also operate the 757-300, which has a longer fuselage, but is not affected by the latest AD. Airline startup New Pacific Airlines also operates the aircraft type, while FedEx and UPS have a number of 757-200 freighters. The US Air Force, they operate the Boeing C-32, which is a modified 757-200, which is commonly used to transport the Vice President. It's unclear which airline the 13 aircraft belong to. Additionally, the FAA is not able to comment further on the details of the directive. So, the cost of the repairs. The ADs are not uncommon among aircraft. They're designed to ensure that planes never are at risk of severe safety problems. However, addressing the directives can be costly. According to DJ's Aviation, the estimated cost of the AD for the effective 757s is around $8,840 per inspection cycle. The labour cost for reinforcement installation is estimated to be $85 an hour, at 38 estimated work hours, with a total cost of $3,230. The exact cost will be ultimately determined by the final inspections of each aircraft and the severity of cracking. It's unclear how many of the 13 aircraft will need replacements or full reinforcements. 757, I never thought I'd hear this about this aircraft, Andy. It's like
it's old,
built to last.
But it's very old. These airframes have seen a lot of life. And just like you and I, we're all starting to crack around the edges as we get older.
Oh, speak for yourself.
I said you and I as in Carlos. I was not implying you, Matt.
Fair enough. Coming from the guy who can barely walk at the moment. But yeah, anyway.
As it says, it's not uncommon as well. Airworthiness directives come along quite often when aircraft are new and they found problems, or as they get older and they find issues that they didn't even think would occur. So yeah, it's not that much work really as well. 38 hours work to fix it. It's not too bad.
And it's around the lav area.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Even so,
it's probably corroded due to the lavatories, to be honest.
Yeah, potentially, yeah, absolutely. But then, of course, we know of like sort of aircraft that have been retired and things like. We look at the Vulcan, for example, isn't it? You know, they're not allowed to fly that anymore purely because of the age of the airframe.
Yeah,
you know, that is the reality, isn't it? They have a shelf life.
And as well with the Vulcan, Airbus pulled support as well. Once a manufacturer decides it's not going to support an airframe anymore, then you can't fly it.
Yeah. Which again sort of makes sense. And of course, you know, I mean, we we're sort of complaining about it, you know, loosely, but of course the reality is that the priority will always be safety.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting, Matt. If we get a chance to go up to the Norwich Aviation Museum where we filmed our 100th episode many years ago, the Vulcan there is really interesting to look at how deteriorated the metalwork can get over the years with an aircraft, because it does eat. It eats the aircraft away.
Well, yeah, especially when they're sort of sat around and stuff. And let's be honest, the atmosphere here in the UK is not ideal, shall we say, for metal.
Moist is what it is.
The word.
Moist.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially at the moment, we've had our summer, haven't we? We had those we had those 3 days last week. That's it, gone, done, toasted now. Yeah,
summer 2024. It lasted a week.
That was it. Yeah.
Now, Andy, you've got the next one. Now, I've seen the air crash investigation, and there's also been a documentary done about this particular incident. But this is going back a few years.
Yes, a long way back. There's also a very good podcast series on it as well. With the captain was one of the people interviewed on it. But this is Kuwait flight hostages sue BA and UK government. Passengers and crew held hostage after a 1990 British Airways flight landed are suing the airline and the UK government for deliberately endangering them. They claim BA and the government knew Iraq had invaded Kuwait before the plane they were travelling on landed in the country. The 367 passengers and crew of BA Flight 149 were taken hostage, and some were mistreated, seriously assaulted and kept in near starvation conditions. The claimants believe those on board were put at risk so an intelligence gathering mission could take place, an allegation which has been denied for 30 years. 94 people, either passengers or crew on board Flight 149, or BA crew already in Kuwait awaiting deployment, are behind the civil action, alleging the UK government and BA were guilty of negligence and joint misfeasance in public office. It is the latest step in a long battle to get answers as to what happened during Iraq's invasion of Kuwait in 1990. On the evening of the 1st of August 1990, BA Flight 149 took off from London Heathrow's airport with a planned stop in Kuwait on its way to Malaysia. Iraqi troops were already massing on the border with Kuwait ahead of an invasion of the country that night, but the flight was not diverted from stopping in Kuwait. The claimants say no other airline allowed its planes to land after the invasion began. By the time Flight 149 landed on the morning of the 2nd of August, there was rocket fire near the airport as Iraqi forces took control. The plane was evacuated and unable to take off, and those on board were taken hostage. Some were released quickly, but others suffered mistreatment and were used by Iraq as human shields at key facilities to try to prevent Western forces bombing them. Charlie Christiansen, a steward on the flight, told the BBC he was used as a human shield by Iraqi forces. I was taken with other unmarried cabin crew and passengers to the port in Kuwait City. I was held there for about 2 months in a guarded bungalow, he said. There were ditches dug in the garden, and we were told that should the British and Americans launch a ground attack, we would be killed and put in the ditches. The hostages were released after 5 months, and the claimants in the lawsuit say they're all suffering from severe physical and psychiatric harm, the consequences of which are still felt today. Mr. Christiansen said he was forced to move away from the UK to recover from the trauma. He now lives in Luxembourg. He said he hopes the case will bring justice for him and other hostages, as well as an end to the British government and BA's lies and deception. At the centre of the claim, it is alleged the UK government and BA received a series of warnings during the night but did not act on them. It's also alleged that one reason for this was the desire of the government to insert a special forces team who could carry out reconnaissance within the country. The BA Cabin Services Director on the flight previously told the BBC that a British man in military uniform greeted him at the plane's door on arrival in Kuwait. The man said he had come to meet 10 men on the flight who had boarded in Heathrow. They were brought to the front, disembarked and were never seen again, but by then it was too late for the plane to leave. Anthony Pearce was responsible for political intelligence, a role widely assumed to be covered by MI6. I am convinced that the military intelligence exploitation of British Airways Flight 149 did take place despite repeated official denials, he told the BBC in his first interview in 2021. In November 21, the Foreign Office admitted that Parliament and the public were misled for decades about Flight 149. Newly released files revealed the British ambassador in Kuwait did warn the Foreign Office about the invasion, but BA were not told. There must be closure and accountability to erase this shameful stain on the UK's conscience, said Matthew Jury from the law firm behind the claim. A Cabinet Office spokesperson said the government did not comment on ongoing legal matters. BA did not respond to a request for comment. There we go. Interesting. Conspiracies, all sorts.
Yeah, quite.
Taken a long while to carry on with this.
I think it's only in the past few years that a lot of these details have come out to the point that these people who were put through it have actually got enough evidence to say, right, maybe we can do something about this now. But will we ever truly know the truth?
It's an interesting documentary program, and like you say, Andy, it's I think it was one of the air crash investigation episodes as well. I think it was.
Yeah,
I know I've seen it one of the programs.
There's also a podcast as well. You keep talking, and I'll find the title of it because it is very good.
And just in the article there that there was a bit of an oxymoron there. There was a gentleman apparently responsible for political intelligence.
Oh,
I can't imagine that would be a very busy role.
yeah.
Just getting a bit topical there.
Yeah,
apparently,
I was going to say careful.
There's some popularity contest going on this week. Apparently,
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Actually, myself and Carlos are a bit twitchy whenever you mention anything like that because it's very much embargoed on local radio, so we get a little bit twitchy whenever politics is mentioned. Yeah.
The podcast series is called The Secret History of Flight 149. There's quite a few episodes there, and it's all a crew and a few of the passengers are interviewed and stuff. It's very interesting.
I shall get onto that one. Thanks, Andy.
Another one to add to the list of podcasts, that is.
Mind you, we obviously can't have people tuning away from...
No.
No, they are allowed.
No. They're only allowed to listen
on Mondays and Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Okay.
Right, so more exciting news if you like watching aviation stuff on the old telly box, Matt, on this next one.
Yes, indeed. I was trying to find the video while we were doing that so that I could play some of it, but no joy, sadly. And I can't get the link to work in the browser for some reason, so I'll try and work that out in the meantime. But we're back to Airbus for this one, and I just realised it hasn't switched cameras. Bear with me a moment. Technical problems. Technical problems here. No, it's not playing. Hang on one moment.
Shall I do a dance?
Yeah, do, absolutely.
Do a little dance here for everyone.
Do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight.
Down tonight.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, there we go. Fixed. Sorry. We are having some problems in the studio today. Apologies for that. So Airbus releases its first original free-to-view docuseries, A330neo Evolution. Very exciting. Airbus has stepped into the filmmaking world with the release of its first ever original documentary series. I know what Carlos is watching while he's ironing this week.
Oh, yeah.
The plane maker announced this week, entitled the A330neo, The Heir Apparent. The mini docuseries focuses on the evolution of Airbus's A330neo, the successor to the highly popular A330ceo. The A330neo aircraft variant has not reached the dizzy heights of its predecessors, the A33020 and the A330-300, but Airbus clearly felt it was a story worth telling. The series will focus on the dedication, fervour and commitment of the teams entrusted with the development of this game-changing aircraft, as well as the trust and confidence displayed by the customers who have chosen it, Airbus said in a statement announcing the launch. The docuseries is free to view through the Airbus website, with the first season looking at the world of engineers, test pilots and designers at both the plane maker and British engine manufacturer Rolls-Royce. The first episode, Flying the Nest, introduces viewers to Vincent Labus, the head of the A330neo overall aircraft design at Airbus, who provides invaluable insights into the plane's development. In the opening episode, Labus explains how a double-digit reduction in fuel burn was the driving force behind the design of the aircraft, with particular regard to the aerodynamic efficiency of the new wing and wing engine integration. Additional episodes will explore the A330neo's updated cockpit and systems, Rolls-Royce Trent 7000 engines and the airspace cabin. Spread over 4 episodes, the first season will also feature Chief Test Pilot Malcolm Ridley, Rolls-Royce Trent's 7000 Chief Engineer Paul Sixsmith, and Jochen Werner, who's the Airbus VP Industrial Cabin Designer. A second season, which is already in the pipeline, will focus on A330neo customers, their thoughts on purchasing the aircraft variant and how it operates daily. Although Airbus has not confirmed which customer airlines will be involved in the docuseries, some of the A330neo existing operators include Delta Air Lines and Cebu Pacific, and also lesser ACL. As of the 24th of May, a total of 319 A330neo family aircraft have been ordered by more than 25 customers, of which 131 aircraft had been delivered. Together, the A330-200 and the A330-300 accumulated 1,445 orders before being replaced by the improved new engine option series. In June 2024, it was understood that Airbus had opened talks with several Chinese airlines regarding the potential sale of more than 100 A330neo wide-body aircraft. You can watch the first episode of the A330neo, the heir apparent, on the Airbus website. There we go.
Now imagine, Matt, my excitement when you just started reading that story, thinking, oh, brilliant, I've got some epic program to watch this weekend.
Right.
And then I look on the link, click on the link to watch this. And episode 1
5 minutes?
Is a whole 4 minutes and 37 seconds long.
Oh, that is a shame. Right. Okay. Maybe, sort of like toilet viewing then, if that's...
How can you call it a documentary series when the episodes are just over 4 minutes long?
Because unfortunately what dictates whether it's a docu-series or not is essentially multiple episodes of providing information or storytelling, I'm afraid.
Yes, but I want more. I want an hour.
Okay, lovely.
Minimum.
Well, I mean, what you could do, perhaps, is wait until series 1 and 2 have been completed, and then
8 minutes.
Well, it might be a little bit more than that, but you might be able to sort of munch your way through a whole program's worth, maybe get half an hour's worth out of it anyway.
How about you make a documentary, then complain about the lengths of them, Carlos?
What can I make a documentary series on?
Oh, good Lord.
Documentary series on the making of a podcast about aviation.
Okay, fair enough.
Don't give away all our secrets.
No.
Everyone...
Actually, I'd love to do a documentary series on sim sessions with our very own Andy.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah.
No, because it'll probably get me sacked.
Yeah.
There'll be lots of swearing.
Yeah.
Starting from the hotel in the morning when the alarm goes off, so you've got the camera pans down to a sleeping Andy. Beep, beep, beep,
Right.
beep, beep,
Okay. I mean, I'm sort of thinking, that it, first of all, it'd have to be after 9 o'clock because there'd be too much swearing.
Do you know, the past 2 days, I've actually been filming some videos at work, and the outtakes could never be shown anywhere.
Lovely. Okay.
The language is so bad, and I'm
Lovely.
so frustrated with myself at times.
Okay.
Doing silly things. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? I would never do that for real. Why did I do that now?
Love it. Love it.
We'll run now on the Christmas special this year, Andy.
Yeah, I think it might get shown some sort of
Yeah.
do at some point.
Yeah, I dare say. I dare say.
Make it pay-per-view, I'd pay.
Right. Okay.
But give the money to charity, then you don't get in trouble then.
There was one
Oh yeah,
point
sure.
where,
That's how that works. Yeah.
yeah, there was one point in the video where I stand on the brakes to stop the aircraft and the seat slid all the way back.
Lovely.
Oh.
Many
Well,
questions.
it's a simulator, so it doesn't really matter.
No, I know, but
I thought the
still
seats
definitely
with
Yeah,
the
I thought they
Airbus
were electric in an Airbus.
Yeah.
They are electric, but they also have mechanical backup as well. And sometimes the electrics don't work. And bear in mind, these seats get moved a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
So, Andy, have you ever been involved with collecting a new aircraft from Toulouse?
Not from Toulouse, but from Hamburg I have, because that's mainly where they finish the 320 fleet these days.
Okay.
Yes, it smells very nice.
Is it like it's like the new car smell, only better? Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes the LCDs have still got the plastic on them.
Love it. Oh,
Yeah, and you get to
It's
peel
like
it
when you
off.
get a new phone.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's so nice.
And you get to peel it off and be the first person to put that first fingerprint on. Because I don't know why, and this is something that winds me up a lot. I get on board an aircraft, and the screens have got fingerprints all over them. They're not touch screens. Why are people touching them?
Right. Yeah.
Very, very annoying.
So did you make sure that you've had one of your favourite KFCs first?
Well, then put my fingers all over it.
yeah. Suitably
Actually,
greasy.
does beg the question: do you carry a bag or packet of those glass?
Yes, I have.
screen wipes?
I have screen wipes. I am that anal about it. Yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah.
way forward.
I've heard Captain Jeff saying that as well, actually. It's you could be one of those things, couldn't it? You could spend the first 10 minutes of getting into a new aircraft and sort of just going round and cleaning everything that you think you might come into contact with.
Because flight decks only get cleaned by the engineers once every blue moon.
Right.
Wow.
Quite often you get on board, and in the central pedestal, especially the older ones, now this is disgusting, you can look down in the gaps between the panels, and there's crumbs, there's hairs, there's dust, there's everything. And you look at it and go, I don't want to touch that. I don't want to touch any of it.
Oh, I don't feel
So
well.
you get wipes and clean all the buttons you're going to press, the thrust levers, the FCU, the side, especially the stick. The stick can get so grimy.
Oh,
Just give that a good clean as well.
don't.
Yeah.
No, can we stop talking about it now, please?
That's one thing you don't remember or you don't think about, is it? When these aircraft do the turnarounds and stuff, they are hoovered, or the cabins are tidied up and stuff is cleaned, like, except blah blah blah. But you don't think that the flight deck isn't cleaned every single day.
They're allowed to clean the carpets, but the cleaners are not allowed to touch anything else.
True. Yeah. True. Which kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Because you don't.
Yeah.
You don't want them to
Press anything.
Yeah, you don't want
They get very grimy. That's the only way to describe it.
Right.
So you've never been part of a docu-series then, Andy, with the airline you work for?
No,
No.
and I wouldn't be either.
No.
Oh.
No, it's probably for the best. Let's be honest.
Imagine cameras on my flight deck.
Oh no.
No.
Yes. I'll send you a GoPro, Andy.
No,
We want to see
not
the footage.
allowed. Not allowed. Captain Cruz is saying next time you come over and I have time, let me know. Andy Wilson, there you go. Look,
To do what, Captain Cruz? That's the question.
drink beer, I suspect.
Oh, well, that's fine. I could do that.
Love it.
Also, Armando says that he's agreeing with what Andy was saying just a moment ago about the mess.
Oh, really? Bit of a pet peeve.
Yeah.
I think the sticky fingers on screens as well. There's just no need for it.
Yeah. No, I bet. Very true. Very true.
Learn something. This has been a learning episode this week. We've learned lots of things this week. Next one's from newscloud.eurowings.com, and Eurowings April Fool's joke actually took flight. Nice pictures with this, actually. On the 1st of April, Eurowings joked that it was entering the hot air ballooning business with a fleet of balloons that would operate from Dusseldorf to Mallorca on what they call the Palma Shuttle. Fast forward a few months, and Lufthansa's value airline has actually started a plane-themed balloon service over the stunning island of Mallorca in Spain, operated by Mallorca Balloons. The M160 hot air balloon is operated by Mallorca Balloons, who have been active on the Balearic Islands for 37 years. It takes off from the Manacor balloon port on the centre of the island. The balloon has a capacity for more than 4,500 cubic meters and is 8 floors more than 22 meters high, and the basket under the balloon can accommodate 4 to 5 passengers. While the service doesn't go to Germany, you can take a ride in this one-of-a-kind balloon and enjoy breathtaking views for less than €200. The new tourist attraction is available all year round, and tours can be booked by the Mallorca Balloons website, and Eurowings guests receive a 10% discount on their trips. Now, I have to say, this is a rather interesting looking balloon. Kind of reminds me of that massive balloon here in the UK that looks like a... we after 9 o'clock yet? No, we're not, are we?
No, not quite.
Oh.
Before you start, yes.
But you know the balloon I'm talking about,
I think
the
so,
airship.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, Airship 1.
Airship 1, that's it, yeah.
Was it called Airlander or something like that?
Yeah, Airlander.
The one that looks like a bottom.
Oh, my.
I knew the one that you meant, yes.
Look at that, though, isn't it? I think it's really cute. It's kind of got a little aeroplane face. Look at it. It's so cute. I want to go on it.
Sure.
I think it looks great. If anyone's listening to the audio version, you need to go back and look at the YouTube, because we put some pictures up, and this thing looks fantastic.
For the benefit of those listening in the audio world, Nick, what does this? It's a hot air balloon, but
yeah, it's essentially a standard-looking hot air balloon that looks like an airline has flown through the middle of it. It's brilliant. It's a real good job. I think they've done a really nice job with that.
Actually, just all jokes aside, very much looking forward to going to the Old Buckingham Balloon Festival at the end of August. In fact, actually, while we were doing that, I've managed to find a little bit of a video that I took, because unfortunately it was really windy when we were there, but they were doing this.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
They were doing the blow-up thing with it. I'll tell you what, that's quite a sight. We're playing some funky tunes, as you can probably hear in the background.
Imagine that in your back garden.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go. How cool was that? Obviously, Richard E. Flagg was there. Got to meet him when they were doing all that. I mean, really, it's quite amazing, because they did the best they could with what was going on, if you see what I mean. The fact that they couldn't do any sort of flying and that. But hopefully the weather will be better this year, and I'll have some more videos
The question is,
to share with you.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Would you have a go in one?
I don't think there's enough money in the world to persuade me to get in.
I honestly, for a minute there, I thought you were going to say, I'd have a go.
No. We are going. Mr. Grint is going up in one, and we are going to attempt to do his show live from a hot air balloon, which is something that's never been
really cool.
So we're going to have a go at doing that. But I will be very much on terra firma on the ground.
I'll be there with the coax cable.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Quick,
absolutely.
We need more.
Well, no, the plan is that they're going to go on an actual proper flight, because once you get above Old Buckingham, you get decent 4G service. So the plan is, once he's left the realms of local, for going up in the air and all that kind of thing, that we're actually going to attempt to do a flight. So more details on that in August.
My word.
Yeah, I know.
Love that.
I know, but no, definitely on the ground, 100%.
Definitely on the ground. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you might be just tempted to.
No,
if I come with you?
Not in a.
Me and Nick?
Not in a cat hell. You could put the most beautiful human being on planet Earth completely stark naked in said balloon, and I would still stay on the
I'm sorry, Matt. I'm keeping my clothes on. I don't care what you say.
Some people are so picky.
What about if I put this weekend's 6 winning lottery numbers in a balloon and said, Matt, if you go in that balloon and fly in it, you can
Carlos,
keep the number.
whilst I love you very dearly, I know you full well that if you did have the 6 winning lottery numbers, there's no way they'd be in a balloon for me to find. Just saying.
Okay, fair enough. Matt's not getting in a balloon, guys and girls. Sorry.
Never going to happen. No, mind you, I did get in a parachute plane. But that
you did?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Where I felt very poorly by the end of it. But anyway, that was enough. I think it was the mere thought of flying. Anyway, yes, I digress slightly. Oh, hello. Oh, I've seen people skydive from hot air balloons.
Yeah, see, I can see where we're going with this. I think the with the 600th episode fast approaching, we'll see Matt doing it. I'll tell you what, Matt, it'll sort your back out.
My word.
One way or the other.
I think we just don't tell him he's going skydiving. We bundle him in, tell him, this backpack, just pop that on, mate, you'll be all right, and then just kick the bottom of the balloon out.
Yeah.
You're missing a trick here, Andy. It's the pint of milk that Matt has before he goes.
That'd need to be a hell of a lot of milk.
You ain't getting on no balloon.
I pity the fool. And
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Anyway, moving on. It's time. It's time. Oh my word! Honestly, you lot. It's time for the retro airline ad of the week. Now, I'm gonna have to look this airline up because I need to know if what happened to this airline. But anyway, this week it's the turn of Southern Airlines, and the look at you need to watch this advert because it is so amusing. Just as soon as you see this, you will think of Nev. But you need to look at this Southern Airlines and a look at the big difference between economy and Nev class.
Second cabin, please.
Southern Airways believes that no man should be subjected to the indignity of being labeled or treated like a second-class citizen. Which is why, when you get on a Southern jet...
Hi, Mr. Gill. Sit anywhere you like.
You'll find no curtain separates the peasants from the nobility. No one takes the legroom from you and gives it to someone else. On Southern, there's only one class of service, and it isn't second.
Fucker.
I mean, my favourite part of that is the... My favourite part of that is the peasants. I think that's...
Peasants from nobility.
The peasants from nobility. Yeah, that's definitely the way forward.
Well, according to this, or Southern Airlines, just looking to find out about Southern. Have you heard of Southern Airlines, Andy?
I used to fly DC-9s in America.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah, Southern Airlines. I can't find anything about them on the old interwebs. I'm just trying.
They were a local scheduled carrier. I'm guessing they were merged into Northwest in 1986. No, there you go. Following a merger with North Central Airlines, they became Republic Airlines.
Okay.
Which in turn was merged into Northwest, which was then in turn merged into Delta.
There you go. So they sort of still exist in some form or other then, I guess.
Somewhere down the line, yeah, but they used to fly really little DC-9 15s and 14s. Little stubby things.
Nice. Like that.
Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that retro airline ad of the week. We're going to have another one next week on the show. But time to hand things over to, just for a change this week, to Nick. Because, Nick, you had... quite an interesting weekend, didn't you, last weekend? This is, by the way, when we had sun in the UK.
We did. We actually had a tremendous amount of sun, and I even got called out by Henry, my son, who's 13, who reminded me that we ought to put some sun cream on. Although that was
Thank goodness one of you was being sensible. Yeah.
Well, partly because he got really badly sunburnt the week before while playing football with his mates. But
right,
but there we go. But anyway, I've got some family that live up in Buckinghamshire, so not far from Nev actually. And what we tend to do is we'll sort of go and combine a bit of a family visit with a bit of plane spotting, because Henry and I both enjoy a bit of watching the planes, and it's a nice way for us to sort of combine our hobby, if you like. And so about a month back, we'd been up to what I think is known as the Mound outside T5. Normally we would go to Myrtle Avenue, which some of you may have heard of, which is, it's a pretty iconic spot where the aircraft fly in over the top of the houses. But actually on that occasion, there'd been an unscheduled runway change, so the planes were actually coming from the other direction. And we quite enjoyed being outside T5 because there's a really nice grassy area there, and actually quite a few people there, a few families, and people with some big cameras and some nice big lenses there. But actually what we quite enjoyed was the fact that we could go and wander over to the terminal and go and have a quick use of the facilities there. Now, as we heard last week from one of our listeners, it turns out that actually it's a bit illegal to go into the terminal, and we actually did wander in, and we kind of felt like we were being a bit naughty because we weren't flying anywhere and we weren't picking anybody up. And as it turns out that, you're not really meant to do that, and it's actually illegal. But anyway, we didn't cause
Why
any
is it
trouble.
illegal though?
Well, I think it's just to sort of discourage anybody from being there that shouldn't be there, if you know what I mean.
But I mean, airside, like so once you've gone through departures and stuff, I get that. But I mean,
yeah.
Technically, they're
What if you're there
public
dropping off
spaces.
family and friends? Yeah.
Well, I think in that case, that's perfectly legitimate. But I think, in our case where we were basically there just mooching around and could potentially be up to no good. Anyway, so this past weekend we were back at Myrtle Avenue, and so that sits on the final approach to 27 left, which is the southerly runway at Heathrow. And the final part of the approach comes in over the houses, and it makes it a really popular spot with photographers. And actually adjacent to the end of Myrtle Avenue, there's a really nice big green area there. So it's actually a great spot. You can go and take a picnic, take some camping chairs, and you can just sort of settle in, get comfy, and you've got a really good view. You can see the planes from quite a long way off, and you can literally watch them until they kind of right in over the fences on their final bit of the landing there. So where we were stood watching, there were probably, I would say, around about Myrtle Avenue, there were maybe 100, 150 people there.
Cool.
Quite a lot of families with kids, and and they basically people coming along, spend the afternoon there, enjoy the sunshine, and it really is a great spectacle watching, particularly the big aircraft. You see the 777s and the A380s coming in, and they really are quite a sight to behold, seeing them coming in at quite close range there. And you're sort of close enough, you can see the inspection panels and you can read the sort of serial numbers on them and stuff. And it's pretty cool. It must be, I always think it must be quite funny to be one of the passengers on those aircraft and sort of look down and you think, what are those people doing there watching the planes? I don't know, unless you're people like us, you must think it's probably a little bit weird. But anyway.
Now, we were talking off air, and I think we're going to try and do this if you're up for it, Nick. Now, I've never actually been like plane spotting before, or like what you've done. So we're going to try and meet up, aren't we? And actually, Nick's going to sort of show me the ropes, basically. So I'm going to have a go at it and see what all the fuss is about.
Well, yeah, that would be greate.
You're going to take your book, Matt? You're going to take your book?
Yes. In fact, one moment, it's under the desk. I'll get it. Hang on.
Well, in fact, that does go on, and there are some pretty nerdy sort of train spotter types with their anoraks. And in actual fact, so initially when Henry and I used to go sort of when we first started doing this, we would go over to there's a kind of almost like a little mini grandstand over at the Heathrow Academy on the north side of the airport. And it's actually about halfway along the runway, so it's not that great a spot to watch, but that does seem to attract a lot of the kind of hardcore types with the notebooks that are literally noting down registration numbers as they're coming in. And you get a lot of people with radios as well, so they'll be listening to the kind of, the ATC communications. But actually, genuinely, the thing I really liked about it was the fact that even after so every day at 3:00 the runway switches at Heathrow, and they do that to give the local residents a bit of a break, essentially. So at 3:00 we got to the stage where the last aircraft had landed over Myrtle Avenue, and we then drove over to the north runway. And as we were driving around, it was actually amazing seeing how many families there were that were kind of wandering around the perimeter road of the airport to go and watch from the north runway. And it really is, it's just quite heartening, really, to see that there are a lot of other people out there like us, weirdos like us, that actually enjoy just being around the airport. And one of the nice things we noticed as well is that as you drive around the kind of the eastern end, it would be of the airport, you've got all the BA maintenance hangars there, and actually some of the aircraft themselves are parked outside the hangars, and they're right next to the road. And as we came around the corner, there was a big A350 there, and it was honestly a really spectacular sight, seeing it quite up close. And you kind of forget, how big these aircraft are. And Henry was really excited about it. And he's a 13-year-old lad, and he watches a lot of TikTok, and but he was kind of quite impressed, and he's like, wow, it's a really exciting place to be. And it was nice to see a teenager be quite so excited about flying and being around aircraft.
So if you're travelling to Myrtle Avenue, Nick, what is the best? Obviously, you've got a lot of things to take into consideration, obviously parking and also the ULEZ zone. So what is the best place to park up? Unfortunately,
the ULEZ did get extended, and now it does encompass a lot of Heathrow, which I think was cynically, you might say that was a ploy to generate a lot more income for Transport for London. So if you don't have a ULEZ compliant car, it is £12.50 to enter that zone. I kind of personally think £12.50 is quite worthwhile. If you're going to go for the day, you're going to, a few of you in the car, even if you're only there for sort of 2 or 3 hours, actually, it's not bad value in a way, because you are quite close to the aircraft. Now, for Myrtle Avenue itself, it is a residential street. It's quite a short street, and it is obviously quite popular with plane spotters. So it does tend to get parked up quite quickly. What I tend to do is I'll go down to Keynes Lane, which is a couple of streets down. And there's actually quite a big residential area and a little bit of an industrial area there as well. And it's often a little bit easier to get parked there. You can park for free and sort of wander 5 minutes back up the road to Myrtle Avenue. It's a little bit more tricky on the north side of the airport. It tends to be surrounded by all the sort of longer stay car parks, so that is a bit harder to park up there. However, I have actually managed to find a little spot literally on a kind of on the roadside verge, really, which is actually outside of the ULEZ zone. So there are some little spots around, and I think what you'll tend to find is that being close to the airport, you get a lot of places where taxi drivers will go and sort of hang out while they're waiting to pick somebody up. So it's worth actually sort of driving around a little bit, and you can drive around quite a bit of Heathrow on the perimeter roads and sort of scope out where you'll see taxi drivers just kind of hanging around. And sometimes you can sort of pull the car up there. You have got to be a little bit careful, obviously, and the airport police at Heathrow are very vigilant, and they will be on the lookout for people stopping in places where they shouldn't be. And they will make it known to you that you might not perhaps be where you should be, and that they would like you to move on. And they carry large large loaded weapons, so I wouldn't necessarily argue with them.
No, definitely not.
But yeah, it's a great. I think it's a great way to spend an afternoon. And yeah, I think it would be lovely to try and organise something for some point in the future where we can get a few people together and meet up and yeah, enjoy watching some of the planes coming in. And hopefully, yes, absolutely. And be a little bit more organised than me, because while we were there, we managed to miss a 747 landing.
Oh, no.
And afterwards, Henry announced to me that he'd never actually seen a 747 in real life, and I felt really bad that we'd missed it. So I'm going to have to make it up to him.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
Well, thanks for that, Nick. It's always
Pleasure.
good to have an insight into the best places to go spot. And Andy, up your end of the country at your local airport, is there anywhere you can spot or view the aircraft?
I don't know. In Manchester, where I fly out of, yes, there's a viewing area at Manchester. It's fantastic, the viewing park. Newcastle, when I were a lad, there used to be a viewing area on the roof there, but unfortunately that's long gone. But I think you can, at the end of runway 25, there is a place there that people park and spot. And Teesside as well. Teesside's a quiet little airport, but they get a lot of airlines coming into base train with new pilots, so doing circuits. And the RAF use it quite a lot as well for their A400s. So you can see some quite interesting things there as well. But I don't know where to go spotting around there. It's been a long time since I've been spotting, unfortunately.
Definitely going to try and get up to Manchester at some point, because it does look really good there.
Yeah,
the nice thing with Manchester is you not only have you got a great spot to go and watch there with, I think there's a cafe as well, isn't there? But obviously you get a lot of the big international stuff as well. So you get some, a good variety of the sort of big heavy stuff coming in as well.
Yeah, they've got some good aircraft on display as well. They've got a Trident there. It's not a Comet. What's the military version of the Comet called?
Oh, the VC? No.
No, that was used as a sub-hunter. The name's completely...
Nimrod.
Nimrod, that's it. Thank you. They've got a Nimrod. They've also got a fuselage section of a DC-10 that they sometimes open up as well.
They have, yeah.
And then, of course, there's Concorde undercover. Oh, yeah, and the Avro RJX, the one test aircraft that was built that was going to replace the Avro RJ series, but then never went ahead. And yes, Darren's right. The pub at the other end of the threshold 2-3 right is a good place to spot aircraft as well. But that car park there is always rammed on a nice day.
We need to put that in the diary for this year. I know we've got an invite from the guys at Airliners Live to go up and spend a day with them. So I'll have to sort something out very soon. But we also need to sort out a trip to Myrtle Avenue, I think, Nick. Definitely at some point. We'll pick you up, Matt, and we'll go and meet Nick there and have a day there.
No, that would be really good. It's it's nice. It's if we can get a bit of nice bit of British weather as well. Even better.
That's the thing. It's timing that weather to be.
To be honest, we've even been in the winter, and even if it's cold and wet, it's still fun to watch the planes. And it's they're still a spectacular sight. So as long as you dress for it, you're fine.
Right, time to do some grey stuff, guys and girls. It's Nev's favourite part of the show. He's going to be gutted he's missed this week. But Matt, if you are ready with the finger on the button.
Blast up buggies 13550, Angel 16, heading 340. Okay. 108 buggies.
And the first story this week, we've just been talking about nice weather, but now we're going to go down to -33. This is on simpleflying.com. The Royal New Zealand Air Force flies the C-130H Hercules for midwinter medical evacuation of American in Antarctica. The Royal New Zealand Air Force has carried out a rare Antarctica midwinter medical evacuation using a C-130H Hercules. Antarctic missions are challenging at best, but flying there at night in the depth of winter is something air forces try and avoid. New Zealand has 5 C-130H Hercules operated by Number 40 Squadron. New Zealand Air Force extracts an American from Antarctica. On Tuesday, the New Zealand Hercules flew from Auckland to Christchurch, taking off at 2 a.m. local time and arriving in Phoenix Airfield in Antarctica at 8:50 in the morning. According to the Royal New Zealand Air Force, the Hercules landed using night vision goggles while people are sweltering in the summer heat in the Northern Hemisphere. It's a perpetual night in Antarctica. The flight then departed for Christchurch at 10 o'clock in the morning, and the island has long been known as one of the gateways to Antarctica. The 8-hour return flight required the Hercules to be hot-fueled on the ice, meaning the engines were kept running during the refueling. The engines were kept running to protect them from the extreme cold, where the temperatures outside were between minus 33 degrees Celsius or minus 27 degrees Fahrenheit, and minus 40 or minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit with the wind chill. The patient was an American from the large McMurdo station near the New Zealand smaller station. And the patient is reported to be in a stable condition with non-life-threatening conditions. And the manner of the problem of the patient was facing in was unclear, but they required medical treatment that was not available on the base in Antarctica. Flights to Antarctica are very challenging in the winter because of the frozen continent and extreme climate. Air crews need to contend with changeable weather conditions and no daylight. The New Zealand Air Force goes so far as to say, apart from flying combat environments, night flying missions to Antarctica in the middle of the winter present the most challenging and dangerous conditions. Along with half a dozen other countries, New Zealand claims a piece of Antarctica called the Ross Dependency. It's located between the longitudes 160 degrees east to 150 degrees west and extends from the South Pole to latitude 60 degrees south. The US does not recognize the claim. Surprise, surprise. Nevertheless, the US maintains its small scientific research base, which is Scott Base, with between 10 and 80 personnel, next to the larger American base with between 200 and 1,000 personnel, and the two bases cooperate. Phoenix Airfield opened in 2017 to replace the older Pegasus Field, 3 miles away at McMurdo Station. Pegasus Field was suffering from warmer temperatures and dust and dirt blown from the nearby Black Island, making the airstrip unusable at the end of the summer. So we certainly don't reach those temperatures here in the UK. Imagine if we did. My word, the whole country would grind to a shuddering halt.
Yes.
But
they're used to it, though, aren't they? This is the thing.
Andy would have to fly C-130s for his airline instead of 320s.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. You'd give it a go.
Like a go. Yeah, I'll fly anything if you pay me.
Fair. Fair. But give it a go.
We don't have Armando on, isn't it? Because they have the Baslers down there that he's.
Oh yes, the turbo DC-3s.
Yeah.
Matt, you've got the next one, and posh aircraft for the military.
Right, okay, if you say so. The RAAF is to replace the current Boeing 737 BBJs. This is coming from scramble.nl. The current fleet, operated by 34 Squadron, based in Canberra, was leased in 2002, I should say, for a 22-year period, according to the Australian Ministry of Defence. The aircraft have failed to meet scheduled annual flight hours due to maintenance and associated readiness issues. In December 21, the former government approved the acquisition of 2 new aircraft. Subsequently, in February 2022, the National Australia Bank, the NAB, was awarded so 372 million Australian dollar contract, excluding sustainment, to supply the Commonwealth with 2 Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft through 2036. The replacement of the Boeing 737s marks the culmination of a comprehensive recapitalisation of the special purpose aircraft fleet this year, with the new aircraft set for delivery to 34 Squadron. This replacement signifies the complete renewal of the fleet following the replacement of the 3 Challenger CL604s with an equal number of Dassault Falcon 7Xs in 2019. The new Boeing 737-8 models will be registered as A62 or Alpha 62001 and Alpha 62002. The first one, Mike Sierra November 67959 and 8532, formerly November 786B Bravo Juliet, was spotted in Basel in Switzerland on the 1st of March 2024. The second aircraft, formerly registered as November 787 Bravo Juliet, has MSN 67960/8610.
So, topping off $110.5 million each.
Lovely. I'll have 2, please.
Yeah, the BBJ, Matt, just in case you didn't know, it was a version of the 737. It means Boeing business jet.
I love how you thought I might in any way know what that meant.
Well,
it's a 737-700 fuselage with a 737-800 wing.
Exactly.
Ooh,
there we go.
Fancy.
But they tend to have...
Sorry, I don't have time to talk to you. I have my book to read, The Civil Aviation Recognition Aircraft. Maybe
That's the first time you've pulled it out in 5 years, isn't it?
I haven't had it that long, have I?
Yes, you have.
Have I?
Oh, my word.
That's worrying. First published in 2002, just saying. This one was 2018. Oh, God.
Yes, I got that for you in 2019.
Oh, wow.
Oh, why that long ago?
I mean, look, I've kept it. It meant something to me in that regard. It's like, I had a present from Andy, I kept it. Yeah, actually, I'm definitely seriously. When we do the plane spotting thing, I'm definitely taking this with me. This is a really cool.
I think we should, on this day that we go, we should just literally do like a right. Matt, guess the next 10 aircraft that are flying over. And see how many out of 10 you get. What do you reckon, Nick?
I can tell you the answer already. 0.
I think you'll get I think we will get a surprise.
Yeah, I mean,
he puts on this front that I'm Matt and I don't know anything about aeroplanes, but secretly he'll make us all look stupid.
He'll turn up in a photographer's vest. He'll have a DSLR with a huge lens on it as well, ready to take photos.
He'll have one of those radios in his back pocket so that he can listen into the chatter, and he's got it all sussed. He's lulling us into a full sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know damn well, Mr. Smith, that every now and again on this show, you say something, and like we're all sitting here. Huh? Matt Smith just said something like
intelligent. Yes, absolutely.
He lets slip occasionally.
Every now and again he just drops the persona.
Sorry, Matt, we're talking about you like you're not here.
Yeah. Hi. Just saying. I mean, the only thing it's just like, if it would be a very worrying state of affairs. How long have I been involved in this? 8 years now, something like that. Been involved in it for quite a long time. If some of it hadn't sunk in by now, then there would be there'd be real grave concern.
Oh, it has.
Never mind. Anyway, I'm going back to my civil aviation recognition book. You carry on.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Right. Don't forget listener feedback, and I must read this, you see, because otherwise Nick will get upset. We want to hear from you, so please get in touch with us here on the show. We'd love to hear from you, and obviously send us some feedback about what you may want to hear or see on the show.
Ooh, the Dassault Falcon 50. Nice.
Obviously, we already have the fantastic part of the show, which is, of course, Andy, who joins us each week. But Andy, you're going to have a bit of a break soon, aren't you? You're off on your holly bob soon, so you'll be missing.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Don't make it sound like it's like, bye, Andy.
It's a long while. It is 2 weeks.
I've got holidays, and then I'm back. I'll be on for a week or two when I get back, and then I'm on a pretty intense course for a month. So I don't know what my availability is going to be. So I'm going to be in and out a bit.
Oh goodness! Look what I've just found in this book. Look, oh dear, Yawn Fest.
Oh, beautiful!
Proper.
That's the best. That's the best page of that book.
That's at Manchester as well, that picture, I think.
Lovely, good. Well, as long as you're having a
Beautiful.
nice time, children, that's fine.
Gorgeous. That's how aircraft should be made.
Right. Okay.
Anyway, so social media links.
Oh my
If you-
God, it's got helicopters in it as well.
If you, oh, good Lord. Don't look at them.
No, it has. Look,
Strange things
You know
they
those
are.
things they make in Hogwarts. Look, there you go. Those. Hurrah! It's even got. See, without looking at the book, I know this one here.
Isn't that top one Airwolf?
That's
I
Airwolf.
think it might be. I know without reading
Does
the book,
anyone
I know
remember
that
the
one-
theme tune?
I know that one's a Eurocopter.
And also, this does prove he has never looked at this book in 5 years.
Busted!
Yeah, whatever. Whatever. Yeah. Oh dear.
Oh, well.
No,
Don't
hello.
panic. We're Master of None says, "Hi everyone. Is it just me or is the sound off?" No, the sound is definitely on YouTube anyway. But social media links. Where can everyone find us on social media? So you can find us on the amazing Facebook. Just look for Plain Talking UK. You can also find us on X. I have to say X now. You need to change that on the show
No,
notes.
you
don't we?
don't.
It says Twitter still. On Twitter. And you can also find us on Instagram as well. Just search for Plain Talking UK. And if you want to email the show, you can send us some feedback. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to send us a video, that'd be even better. Or some audio feedback. You can send it to podcast@plaintalkinguk.com. And don't forget as well, our website, where you can find the store where you can purchase yourself a T-shirt. We have got our P2UK T-shirts and also the mugs as well, where you can get yourself a P2UK mug and a military grey mug as well. So you can find all those over at allthews.plaintalkinguk.com. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube as well, so you're notified when we're live, like we are now, recording a live show. So there we go. Find us on the socials. Send us some love. Send us some feedback, because Nick would love to read it as well. Because he does like to read, especially some of the interesting emails that we get into the PTUK account. Hey, Mr. Smith.
Indeed.
Yes, very much so. So, quick round robin before we all get back to Wednesday evening. And so we'll start off this week for a change with Nick. Nick, what's going on in the world of Nick over the next week with two wheels? Any more bicycle fun?
Yeah, I've been trying to fix the clutch on the Ducati, and that's not been playing ball. So yeah, I might be out on the BMW instead hopefully on Saturday. So fingers crossed for some nice weather, please.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed, Nick. Don't worry. Forecasts look okay at the moment, so you might be okay.
Jolly good.
But you can, obviously, if you want to know for sure, you need to tune in to Park Radio on Saturday morning for Matt's show, where he'll give you the weather.
Excellent. Do they cover the southwest
I'm sure
region?
if you ask Matt nice enough, he'll cover the weather forecast for Daniel.
Excellent. What time are you on at the weekend, Matt?
From 7, yeah.
On Saturday?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I shall be texting you for a weather update.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Sure.
If I don't
why
get a
not?
shout out, I'm going to be very, very cross.
Of course, absolutely. You'll have to remind me, though. I have the worst memory in the world.
Sorry, who are you again?
Yeah, quite.
Andy, what's going on in the world of obviously, I know you're off to the sim literally in about an hour's time, but what are you up to this week?
That's it. I'm heading home tomorrow night, and then I have a week of putting together documentation for the next simulator session for the winter. Before I go on holiday.
Oh, well. So you back with us next week, Andy?
Yes, I am around next week. I am here.
Excellent.
I'll be in the pub.
He'll be in the pub studio. Don't panic, guys and gals. The pub studio. And Matt, what's going on in the world of Smith?
Not a lot, really. No. Very uneventful, I'm afraid. Nothing to report.
No?
No, sorry about that. A bit boring, yeah, I know. Yeah, just, no, literally nothing. Well, I mean, work, but that's about it.
I mean, work, exactly.
Yeah.
But,
Work and a plethora of doctor's appointments, but other than that, yeah, pretty much that's my lot at the moment.
Well, hopefully this time next week, our builder contractor will nearly have completed the renovation of our ensuite, so we'll be able to get back to having more than one toilet in the house.
Oh dear. Oh
honestly.
dear. Oh, I mean, I'm sure the heart bleeds, mate. Oh, I'm so sorry that your ensuite is out of action.
Oh, it's awful, I tell you.
Yeah. What a shame you've got a really nice bathroom next door that is...
Well, that is true. That is true. Don't forget as well, we need to refresh your memories, obviously, of what we're doing this year as well. Don't forget to keep an eye out on our social media because the details for this are on there as well. We are off to, actually, we better do these in date order, really. We're off to Beccles, or Echo Golf Sierra Mike Airfield, on the 3rd of August for our fly-in this year. If you didn't already know, we're going to be meeting up there sort of around a sort of mid-morning time on the 3rd of August. If you can make it, it would be fantastic. We'd love to see you there as a listeners. So that's Beccles Airfield. It's in Suffolk here. It's just literally down the road from me and Matt. It's literally probably about 5-10 minute drive from here where we are. The ICAO code again, Echo Golf Sierra Mike is that airfield. For those if you want to stay there, they do have some great accommodation there. It does get booked up quick. Might already be fully booked. I don't know. So if you wanted to fly in and stay the night, you can do that as well. Also, if you're going to fly in, I know we do have confirmed already a handful of people who are going to be flying in. One of those has been confirmed as our very own Captain Al. He's going to be flying in. Yes, he's going to be flying in, and his Piper. If you're going to be flying in, God, that's loud. Is it me or is that loud? If you're going to be flying in, you need to register a PPR booking before flying in, and details can be found on their website. And all the details from there can be found on allthews.becclesaerodrome.co.uk. You can also email them at ops, that's OPS, Oscar Papa Sierra, at becclesaerodrome.co.uk. And you can give them a call as well, 01502 476 074. So that's the 3rd of August this year. If you're going to come, please do let us know. Send us an email, podcast@planetalkinguk.com. We'd love to see you there and join us for a few beers.
It's the week before the Old Buckingham Balloon Festival.
And a few beers and a few... we'll have some food as well. They've got a lovely restaurant there as well. So we're going to have some food as well. Now, September, we are going to be going back to Duxford on September the 14th for the Battle of Britain Air Display Day. So that's Saturday the 14th of September. We're going to be having a big meet up there as well. Flying and entertainment is going to be starting from around 8 a.m. They're going to be flying from 1 p.m. there with the displays. Tickets are available on the Duxford Imperial War Museum website. They're £49.50. Plus, if you want to park your car, it's a £5 to park your car there as well. Children under 15 get in free. And if you are an Imperial War Museum member, as me and Matt Smith are here, you also get a discount on your tickets for the air show as well. So that's Saturday the 14th of September. This year, we'll be at Duxford Imperial War Museum for the Battle of Britain air display. We'd love to meet some of you guys and girls there. It'd be great to have a big meet-up like we did last year because it was a really good day indeed. So that's it. That's where we're going to bring episode number 509 to a close of the show. Big thanks to everyone who's tuned in this week in the chat room. Great to see everyone in there. Joining us on this Wednesday evening. Don't forget, we'll be back next Wednesday with another fresh show full of news and our views on the aviation world. So from me, Carlos, here at home in the studio, from Nick in his home studios, and from Andy as well in his remote studio there. Enjoy your sim session this evening, Andy. I'm sure you will. And also from Matt in the PTUK Master Suite studios. Have a great week and say goodbye, Andy.
Goodbye, Andy.
Yeah, I got very excited because we had IDSN 2. So you used to be able to download things at 12 kilobytes a second. It was very exciting. I know. It was award-winning back in the day.
12 kilobytes a second. Can you imagine if you got those kind of speeds nowadays?
Yeah, but you go back to, way back when. I mean, that was... I mean,
you didn't need bandwidth back then.
No. Everything was written efficiently.
Yeah.
Now everything's blooming bloatware. Honestly, it's terrible, really.
Yeah, it was only sort of 2 or 3 years ago that watching something on catch-up TV every now and again, you'd get the swirly round.
Well, I mean, catch-up TV didn't exist then, to be fair. I mean, it was... definitely didn't. It's amazing. I mean, even in the most rural of places, you can still get, sort of 5 meg down, which really is quite nuts when you think how remote most people are,
I was chatting to our very good friend Captain Jeff this week, and he is in the Canadian Rockies. I think he said he was.
Lovely, yeah.
But he is very much making full use of Starlink.
Yeah. We're actually looking at that for the radio station at the moment.
Yeah, but he said he was getting mega.
Oh yeah. I mean, they are fiber broadband speeds pulled out of the air, and it's just it's not horrendous. About in the UK you can have it here, it's around about £80 a month plus equipment, which I know is a lot, but that admittedly that's a no data restriction package for £80. And as I say, it sounds like a lot, but of course it is completely portable. And whilst we've got a satellite that we sort of drag out every now and again, don't we? But you don't have the faff of lining it up, and that's the big difference with the Starlink. You literally just have to point it at the sky, and the technology will do the rest. It is. I personally, I don't think there'll be a serious competitor to it, unfortunately, because I think that's the only way we'll see the prices come down to a slightly more sensible level. But yeah, it is a great.
I read some stat earlier today about how many rockets SpaceX have launched this year. I think they've done something like 67 rocket launches in the first 6 months of the year, and they've launched something like, I think it was something ridiculous, like 900 tons of payload to orbit, of which obviously a vast majority of that will be Starlink satellites.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely extraordinary.
It is. And I mean, that's the thing. It seems to be working. It's giving, high-speed broadband in places where it wasn't possible before. Even via satellite. It's very clever.
Starlink is the service they offer, Matt, here in the UK, £75 a month.
Yeah, okay.
And the hardware.
My apologies, I was a fiver out.
The hardware costs are £299.
Yeah. But then I think we paid nearly that for because we bought the hardware outright, didn't we? I think we paid nearly that for the kit that we have with the two-way satellite.
It's very compact. Just looking at the pictures on the website
tiny,
now,
absolutely,
very, very compact.
Well, a lot of people have it. Like a lot of people use it for people who are Jeff, with their motorhomes and all that kind of thing. It's very much the unit to have, because, as you say, you don't have to angle it. You just have to literally plonk it on your roof, and the machine will do the rest. It'll find a satellite. It's nuts. Anyway, enough Jeff Bezos advertising.
There you go. I've also just sent you a video there into the group of satellite. The satellites visible just after launch from the flight deck.
Ooh, hang on one moment, caller.
Oh, this is a treat.
I'm just trying to see if I can put it in the. Hang on.
Oh, that's really cool.
There we go. One moment, caller.
First, I thought, what on earth is that?
Yes.
And then I realised.
Here we go. Hang on.
That's really cool. So that's just after they've been released. So they're all still quite close together at that point. That's amazing.
I think I was up at 34,000 feet.
Am I allowed to play it, Andy?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Oh, hang on. I've just got a sort of... What is it? It's the wrong way up for some reason. Just bear with. adjusting now.
That's really cool. That is, Andy.
Yeah. Well, hang on. I'm just going to share it with everyone. So just give me a moment.
Andy, I don't know if you can talk about it, but was there ever anything that happened with that other incident that you told us about? I think it was over Bulgaria or somewhere.
Oh, heard nothing more.
Yeah. I guess you probably never will you?
Nope.
Yeah.
Either that or the Men in Black have been and flashed us, and I can't remember.
Yeah. Sorry, who are you again?
Yeah.
There we go. Right. I'm just trying to position it so that we can see as much. Actually, no, I can't. I think I can't. I'm trying to work out how best to.
Did I take it in portrait?
You
I
did.
Apologise if
absolute
I did.
heathen, honestly.
Oh, I did, didn't I? Oh my god! I think I was just desperately trying to get.
Oh no, absolutely, yeah. No, I'm just trying to zoom in as much as possible so we can see as much. Here we go. Right, so it's. I'll bring the sound down in case I don't know. There you go. Look at that.
And then I zoom in at some point as well.
Nice.
It looks further away on this camera, but at first it looks really close when you're up there. There you go. So many of them.
There's so many.
Yeah. And you see them starting to space out as well.
That's
so clever.
Cool. So cool. Anyway, enough advertising for the.
You get a good signal if you had your Starlink and the flight deck there. Andy?
Well, yes, quite.
Well, get a good signal up there, yeah.
Definitely.
In more pressing matters, does anybody know where I can stream Airwolf?
You can't do it on. I've already searched for that on the old, the Amazon Fire Stick, and you can't. I think you can get it, but you got to pay for it.
I think I'm guessing there might be somebody that's got stuck some episodes up on YouTube. I might have to go and have a little look.
Yeah,
fancy a bit of that.
Here we go.
I've been getting quite into the airline. I've been watching old episodes of Airline just recently. Just love it. Me and Gemma, we decided we're going to start from
you
the
and
series,
Gemma,
first
yeah,
series.
whatever.
She loves it. Gemma loves it. Yeah.
Mind you, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. I have a very, very fond memory of, I think it was my birthday, and we'd hired a coach, and I was driving the coach, and we'd gone.
Oh, yes.
Was it All You Eat Chinese? I think it was in Norwich.
Yes, it was.
And then we parked on Riverside, and we walked all the way back, and we put Gemma in the proper crew seat, because obviously you used to have a crew seat on some of the older coaches and stuff. We gave her the microphone, and she gave the most, none of which I can ever repeat on air, I should stress, basically using the coach PA that was just, talking about everybody, make sure that you get your euros and all that kind of thing. It was a proper sort of, honestly, it's the hardest thing I've ever done to drive a full-size coach with all of my friends and basically try not to wet myself. It was it was utterly brilliant. Anyway, time.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks everyone for the love in the chat room.
Indeed.
Right, so we're going to let these guys and girls go. So this week, just for a change, Nev's not here, although he has landed now. Good news, he has landed. The last word, I think, Andy, you can say goodbye to the chat room this evening.
Oh, thank you, everybody. And I just want to reiterate as well what Carlos said about sending your feedback. Please do. Anything. Audio, video, emails, anything. We would love it.
Absolutely.
But I hope you all have a wonderful evening, rest of the week, and see you next week.